JS Games here. We coming at you with the deck profile for Magnet Warriors. If you invest in ABCs, you picked the wrong deck because this is the one that you want to really invest in. So pretty much what this deck does is it has a better search potential. I get that you can search pretty much the field spell for like Union Hanger for ABCs, but these monsters can go really well. They also have the tag out potential, not like ABCs, it's just kind of equipped Union kind of thing. Except for there's more answers for ABCs than this, so that's why, I'm kind of like, this was somewhat of a good deck. But, my profile's decent. You can add more stuff to it. There's always different ways of playing this deck, but we'll just get right into it. So we got 3 betas. Beta's the one that lets you search. Obviously can't search itself. That's kind of broken. If it did. All Magnet Warriors, these Electromagnet Warriors, have a tag out ability to tag out into another Magnet Warrior, not Electromagnet, so not these guys. But yeah, this is your main searcher for any of the little guys or big guys that you want. 3 of the Alpha. Alpha allows you to add the boss monster. Tag out ability again, but it lets you add the level 8 boss monsters. And then 3 Gamma. Gamma's the one that lets you just special one from your hand. That's an Electromagnet Warrior or Magnet Warrior. It's pretty good for setting up plays if you want to maybe link summon XYZ immediately. But pretty much what I do is if I open Ties of Brethren, I'll play this one first, and if I have another one in hand, I'll bring that one out. And just bring out more materials for board spam. This card's just kind of smart to do that with. So those are the Magnet Warriors there, and then after that we got 3 of our boss monster here. So Berserkion, he has to be destroyed by your opponent's card effect, I believe, and so it's kind of meh, but yeah, someone can strike it, someone can do anything. It just has to leave possession, I believe. So this card leaves your opponent's or your possession by opponent's card effect. Yeah, so pretty much opponent's card effect makes it leave your possession, and yeah, it has to be destroyed, so it kind of sucks if someone banishes it. But anyways, this is kind of the reason why I guess people didn't really want to invest in it. This card just has potential because you can search it, obviously, and then after that you can just ditch it with a trade-in or something to draw cards, so at least you kind of have the draw power ability. But otherwise, this thing banishes Magnet Warriors from your graveyard to pop a card on the board. If you want to bring it out, you have to banish all 3 of these guys, like 3 different ones. So that's kind of meh. Like, he's good, but it still is meh. So now we'll get into the 2 of monsters. So 2 Obsidians. I do play Brilliant Fusion Engine, so Obsidian kind of is my Gem Knight monster. Otherwise, you can ditch him off Twin Twisters, I believe, and because it just says sent from your hand to the graveyard. So yeah, discard, I guess, or no, wait, I don't think discard. Never mind, I guess you'll kind of have to use a polymerization then for that. 2 Giant Soldiers of Stone, or Century Soldiers of Stone, actually. This card just comes back if you control rock monsters. All these things are rock monsters, so this card just works perfectly. It just sets up the board, and also this is kind of the monster that you'll bring out with whatever Ties of Brethren if you spam the board, like as I said with Gamma, or you can ditch it with the Brilliant Fusion. But okay, we got 2 Deltas. Delta is the one that can send one to the grave. Its second effect is never really used because I'll add what is it, Valkyrion? That's the one that's the other big guy. This thing can special summon Valkyrion from the deck if you banish 3 Magnet Warrior monsters, but that's definitely not worth it. Its ability to send one immediately when it's summoned is probably the best, because it just sets up your graveyard for the big boss monster. Otherwise, you don't actually use its effect unless you're in a really big losing position, so don't bother. And then we got 3 of the vanillas. Just tag out material. Then after that, just banish material. Otherwise, that's kind of it with these guys. They don't really do anything more. You can kind of do rank 4 plays. You can make Link Spider with this. That's all I use them for. Rank 4 and Link Spider. That's it. And then after that, we got the 1 Valkyrion. Obviously, I have one because I play the Fusion. But he's searchable, so it doesn't matter. Otherwise, I'll just ditch him with the trade-in if I don't really you know, need the fusion monster or anything like that. The fusion's just like a fun play kind of thing. Otherwise, you can always side out the stuff. It really doesn't matter. So we get into the spells now. That's all the monsters. So we go 3 of the Ties of the Brethren, obviously. You pay 2,000 life points. You target a level 4 or lower monster. You special summon 3 other monsters with same attribute and same level. And yeah, it just brings out cards and then you search. But no specialing and no battle phase. So you always want to go first and open this. This is like the main card play. Now we have our Brilliant Fusions here. 3. I'm playing just 3 of them because, well, this card can be ditched because I'm also playing 2 Twin Twisters here. So the Twin Twisters is just to get rid of any of them with their extras. Otherwise, you make Zarconia actually off this. It's kind of a funny tack. I'll explain it after this. Yeah, the Brilliant, or well, I'll explain it during the extra deck, but the Brilliant Fusion, if you brick it, you can always Twin Twisters with it, so that's always nice. And as I said, setting up your graveyard is perfect, so Twin Twisters is a great card to have 2 of. And the Brilliant Fusion, obviously, just to bring on a monster. Now, we got 2 Magnet Field. The field is not that amazing. It can special one from grave as long as you control a Magnet Warrior, pretty much. But otherwise, if a monster on your opponent's side of the field is not destroyed after battling an Earth Rock-type monster, it gets bounced back during the damage step. So that means they can't really chain anything to it, and, well, there's not too much of a point. It's just literally a bounce back. It's not that big of a deal. The field, again, not that amazing. 2 trade-in. Just 2. Don't brick yourself here, because, again, you have to pull the alpha for it. So we're looking at like a 2 combo pretty much to get this or to do the draw, and you always got to worry about Ash. That's why, you know, I was thinking maybe 3 and cutting down one of the Brilliant Fusions, because I was like, maybe that's too many Brilliant Fusions, because, you know, you only need to get the play off once, but you prefer to draw cards, right? But Ash is too much of a thing, so only 2. 1 Polymerization, you know, as I said, the fusion play. 1 Regeki, you want destruction. And now we're just going to get into traps, so 2 strikes. You know, you can go up to 3 if you really wanted to. 2 just does it for me. Monster effects, not so big to me, because of tag out abilities, you know. Really, it's kind of like playing Cosmo, because, you know, it's kind of like playing untargetable ships, because you'll just tag out pretty much, or... It's very easy like that, but, yeah, your point is you'll just tag out to build the graveyard, and then you'll bring out your boss monster. So strike, monster effects, not so big. Maybe big boss monsters if they're specialing that. That's when Solemn Strike comes in handy, but it's never that big of a deal. 2 Quaking. Now, this is to really slow down your opponent, obviously. I have to use this card actually quite a bit. Like, this is one I bump up sometimes so that I'm siding. Sometimes I'll keep it at 2. You just really want to make sure that, you know, everything kind of goes down and nothing attacks you, so then you can actually build a board, and then you'll just pop everything when you bring out the boss monster. So that's why Quaking's really good. Obviously, Link monsters are a thing, but no one's really playing heavy Link decks, so we're all good on that. Now we got 1 Magnet Conversion. It allows you to add your Magnet Warriors up to 3 level 4 lower Magnet Warrior cards from your graveyard to your hand. That's not very good because, well, now you just brick a whole bunch of monsters, but again, Twin Twisters is the thing, so this is always good. But its main effect is for the graveyard. You can banish it and add, I think, no, it's special summon one of your Magnet Warriors that is banished, so that's pretty good. But again, you don't really want to just keep adding all your Magnet Warriors back when you're just trying to build up a graveyard for the boss monster. So this card could get bumped up if you change the style, but the way I'm playing it, it's best at just 1. And then last card, Solemn Warning. Just Solemn Warning, negate any, you know, special summon, pretty much. It's just a good card in general. So we'll get into the extra deck, and yeah, I don't really have a side for it, but I can tell you things you can't side. So first things first, it's kind of an unorganized extra deck right now. So you got your Mrs. Radiant here. Mrs. Radiant is always good because it's Earth monsters. So I'm only playing 2 of them, and yeah, I pretty much, you can make it any time because it's super easy because all of them are Earth, right? So that's just the easiest play in the world. We got 2 Gorgonic Guardians. Nope, we got 3 Gorgonic Guardians, sorry about that. So we got 3 Gorgonic Guardians. Obviously, after the Mrs. Radiant, I'll make one of these, or I'll make 2 of these, because this thing's really good. It negates people's effects during either player's turn. You just detach one, you can negate monster's effect by targeting it, and its attack becomes 0. I always screw people over with this card during the damage step, because it alters attack and defense and is a quick play. You can do it during the damage step, and they will most likely not have really anything to respond with. So that always catches them off guard, because a lot of people don't really know what this card does. You can only use rock monsters for it, that's why you won't see it in BA, and you never will see it in BA. So we'll move on now. We'll move on to the Zirconias. Now, with the Brilliant Fusion, I'll ditch, because this one's only 1 Gem Knight monster and 1 Rock type monster. So I'll ditch the Gem Knight Obsidian, and then I'll ditch a Century of Stone, and then bring this thing out. I'll use the Century of Stone effect to special the Century of Stone. Then I'll use this card and the Century of Stone to make Mrs. Radiant, because they're both Earth monsters. So pretty much it's a free link play for me. That's why that's always a good thing to do. We're playing the 1 Link Spider. Well, obviously Link Spider, because there's vanilla monsters, and it's a free 1 down. And if you brick one of them in your hands, now you can special it and make a Proxy Dragon. And obviously 1 Proxy Dragon here. 1 Giant Soldier of Steel. Giant Soldier of Steel is just for the Trickster plays. Once per turn, you can, during either player's turn, you can detach 1 material from this card. It gains 1,000 defense during the end phase, and if it does, you take no effect damage from your opponent's card effects. So Tricksters kind of lose out that one. Another Proxy Dragon. I'm still debating, you know, I threw this in the deck profile, but I'm still debating whether or not it's really worth having 2. It's kind of meh. Mrs. Radiant already points to diagonal down, so it's kind of like, you know, you got enough space for things, and you don't need to go crazy here. But yeah, I guess 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's hard to decide. Play 1 Soul of Silver Mountain. This one just pretty much targets a spell or trap on the board, and your opponent just can't activate it. So it leaves them with a bit of a brick, but this card's really easy to kind of get around, kind of. Well, I wouldn't say too much, but the only effect that this thing's really used for is if it attacks, you get to target 1 Earth monster in your graveyard and special summon it in face-up defense position. So pretty much it's just to make more plays in the end. So it's kind of meh. So 1 Bagooska. This is something if you're really slow on your hands and, you know, you just need something to kind of stall out, you make Bagooska with your tag outs. I replace one of these Proxy Dragons with maybe a Castel. You kind of want the option of actually having a card that deals with something and something that can just sit on the board. That's why I'm kind of was debating about the Proxy Dragon, but you can swap it out with the Castel. That's what I'd kind of more recommend. So now we got the 1 Borrelore Dragon. Borrelore Dragon, really good. You know, you just do a whole bunch of things. Obviously with my monster spam after the thing, and then just tagging out and stuff, and then making Proxy Dragons and Link Spiders, you can just make Borrelore kind of easy, but you still got to worry about Kaijus. That's what I don't like. And then last card, Empyreon, the Magna Warrior. It can just negate anything once per turn, which is really good. But bringing it out is hard, so I wouldn't even bother really most of the time. It really, this card, I just play it because, you know, I like it. It's a free negate, it's a big monster. Don't ever use its second effect. Its second effect is if it's destroyed or something, you get to bring 1 monster, or 1 of each one, and special summon it, pretty much ignoring the summoning conditions from the deck, which is really bad because you don't want to play any more of those monsters. It just will brick you completely if you don't open polymerizations every time, which I just think is the most stupidest play in the world. So whenever I played this deck, I beat usually every ABC player I played against, mostly because of the 1 card Chaos Hunter. Chaos Hunter is that level 7, I believe, dark fiend type monster. It has 25 attack. It's when your opponent special summons a monster. You get to discard a card and special summon that card. After that, your opponent cannot banish cards. So that means you can still banish cards, but any cards that they have cannot be, well, banished, or they can't banish your cards. So it's really good. I'd play it against anyone who's trying to run a Macro Cosmo or anything like that. But that card won me the game against every ABC player because they just could not deal with it. A lot of their plays rely on banishing, so that's why it was just perfect. But if you're ever playing against them, you just play that card. Again, building up your graveyard is super good. So yeah, it's good to discard, especially if you bricked one of your vanillas. So yeah, that's always the card that's going to win you the game for ABC matchup. But yeah, that's the Magnet Warrior deck profile. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks, and goodbye.